Hey guys, first Regardsman here, and I'll be talking about the brand new public test server patch notes for Space Marine 2 patch 14. There was a ton of stuff here about the new PvP maps, new heroics, and also some changes to the siege mode balancing. So we'll be going through all of that here today. So first up, we have new features, new PvP map, Sanctum. Sanctum is a medium-sized PvP map built for dynamic and exciting battles. I mean, I think most people are gonna not really engage these two new PvP maps here, but it is nice that we're finally getting some PvP additions because the upcoming Chaos Siege mode in patch 15 that will probably allow you to use the PvP Chaos mode armor unlocks and stuff like that there, so that's pretty nice. But here they have new enemies: Scarab Occult Terminator Sorcerer. Meet the new sandbox, the Scarab Occult Terminator Sorcerer, a part of a mighty Thousand Suns. He wields powerful magic for both close range and long range attacks and is also capable of creating potent illusions. Now, in the patch notes or in the original data mines, we do know that this boss will be able to clone himself, shoot lasers, doom skulls, and stuff like that. And he'll probably be able to revive Terminators as well, which would be pretty toxic, but I'll be pretty excited to fight him in game in a second here. But also a new feature, new medals and scores for PvP medals and achievements, enhanced visual effects that highlights a player's accomplishments during a match, and they affect the match statistics and experience points a player earns. And also new feature, Trials of Resolve number 2, 4 new challenging ordeals to get new items. Ordeals are designed for experienced players. Okay, so we're only getting 4 new ordeal types this time for the ultra grinds. The major ultra grind overhaul was for patch 13 here instead of this one, and that kind of makes sense. I mean, if we had like double the ultra grind ordeals, it would be pretty intense, especially for new players that'll be coming back for like patch 15. Even though they did say this is for experienced players. Next, we have new feature, War Gear 2.01. Robes for the assault and tactical classes have been added, along with tabards for the assault class, which can be earned by completing new ordeals. Okay, so we don't know just yet if there'll be anything on the old War Gear stuff, because I do hope we get to see stuff like Bulwark Capes, since that was missing from the original War Gear update. But having assault and tactical get tabards as well, that is pretty good. We'll see what they do, because I imagine they'll go beyond just robes for assault and attack, but you know, it'll be in the PTS pretty shortly here. New feature, weekly rewards for participation in PvP, earn accolades for participating in PvP on a weekly basis. Okay, so they are adding in accolades to every single game mode of Space Marine 2. And now Jeff and I talked about this a while back, that them putting in the heroic store was like the single greatest thing for player retention, and like they're finally moving towards having everything in the game be like a cross progression, and I think that is the best possible thing they can do in Space Marine 2 to keep the player base around. And this is a great thing, to be honest, so I'm glad they're doing this, even though I don't play the PvP. Next, I say new feature, PvP team reshuffle. At the end of a PvP match, players will be randomly reassigned to teams based on match results. Experimental feature will be turned on and off on the back end. Okay, so they're trying to, like, you know, stop the whole stack team thing, since right now the PvP is kind of filled with like absolute kings and sweats. New heroic items, added 6 heroic weapons: Thunderhammer, Power Fist, Bolt Carbine, Melta Rifle, Power Sword, and the Stalker Bolt Rifle. Okay, so I wasn't expecting a Bolt Carbine, but a Melta Rifle. I did expect at least a Pyroblaster, Inferno Pistol, or Melta Weapon, because this does have a Salamander theme to it, but I'm curious to see what the heroic effect's going to be on the Melta here. Next, I say added 4 heroic armors: Deathwatch Hand, Deathwatch Chest, Ultramarine Chapter Champion Pauldron, and parts to unlock with accolades. Okay, so that's pretty cool. So we are getting a Deathwatch Champion and the Deathwatch armor in this one as like a separate thing, which I was kind of curious to see if they would actually do that, because initially a lot of people thought the Deathwatch armor leaks we had were only to be for the champion set, but here we have them in the heroic stores. That's pretty cool, which does fit the Power Fist Deathwatch option. Next, I say new season pass content. New season pass content: Salamander Champion and one-time signature weapon skin. We know this is for the heavy, and this is for the multi-melta, and also the Raptors chapter pack. Gameplay and balancing tweaks. So these will probably go over into the official patch release for patch 14, but here they say firearms and PvE. Heroic bolt pistol damage is increased by 15%. Thank God the heroic bolt pistol was incredibly underpowered recently. This is a huge change for him. Secondary bolt carbine maximum ammo increased by 1 magazine for all versions. This is a huge change. I would have gone even further, to be honest. I would have gone up by like 2 magazines, because unfortunately The secondary bolt carbine just has a horrible ammo economy for how much damage it does, and probably needs another damage buff, to be honest. But Pyre Cannon increased range by 15% in both stances. Okay, so Pyre Cannon got a fat buff. That's nice to see. And Auspex Scan no longer affects burn damage. That is a enormous nerf to the tactical. Oh my god, this actually changes. I think that just de facto makes the Death Wash the best weapon on that class now, because Auspex Scan not affecting burn damage, that's huge. I mean, burn damage is still incredibly potent, but okay, that's like the biggest nerf they've done to this game in a very long time. Wow, I wasn't actually expecting that at all. Next, we have Melee and PvE. Explosive Strike, perk of the Omniscient Axe, now causes energy explosion at the point of impact on the enemy, and the Heroic Omniscient Axe's time to reach maximum additional damage reduced by 35%. Okay, I mean, this weapon still sucks because the problem was never the additional damage on the lunging attacks, but Explosive Strike, that's kind of nice. I mean, the unfortunate thing about the Omniscient Axe is that, like, the best combo for this is just the double slam, because the double slam is that good, but hopefully this makes like the other options a bit more viable. On PvE perks, perk Methodical Destruction of Tech Marine now works with the Prometheum Can. I mean, that's nice. It's just a 25% damage debuff to, or damage taken debuff to the enemies, if you're curious what this is. But also PvP balance tweaks and reprogression PvP. All weapons and equipment are available starting at level 1. Okay, so they removed the progression from the PvP. And the only reason I can imagine they're doing this is because they want players who play the PvP mode more. And one of the most limiting factors in the game right now is that it's like the leveling progression in PvP is awful. And I don't know if the solution was straight up removing the progression entirely, but giving everybody weapons and then unlocking cosmetics there, that seems to be like their solution. Shock Grenade, a blindness radius reduced from 9 to 4 meters, blindness duration reduced from 1.5 to 1.1 seconds, excuse me, and Crack Grenade now always destroys and supports Iron Halo. Okay, so a lot of these balance changes initially to like things like Shock Grenades in the PvP, these are from the original dev team, and the team that's currently working on them wasn't even like fully privy to like some of the balancing decisions they made on the PvP, especially. They mentioned that a while back. Also, Assault's ground pound min and max damage radius have been reduced for all these weapons here, and Assault ability charge cooldown is increased from 12 to 16 seconds. Ground pound charge aim max angle is reduced from 50 to 38. So this is all for PvP here. And down here, we're gonna go to the siege mode, which is Tech Priest effectiveness has been greatly reduced. Base max income now starts at 720 for the team and gradually decreases with each wave to 300 at wave 30 plus, like all other sources of income. Okay, that is a massive nerf. Tech Priests were making you disgustingly rich in the siege mode, and honestly, I think this might be a positive change because the Tech Priests, they were pretty much pigeonholing you into always buying these guys, but like I don't think this kind of fixes that, mainly because you'll still be buying Tech Priests because income sources in the early game, they still matter a ton. They will still give you money. All this really does is just change how far you can actually go with that Tech Priest money, but we'll see how that actually plays out in game. Increased enemy damage resistance cap on the highways from 60% to 72% for regular enemies and from 80 to 88% for Terminus enemies. Okay, and the Scarab called Terminator Sorcerer was added as a mini boss. Okay, so the Terminator Sorcerer is now here in the Siege mode, which is kind of expected, but that is pretty much everything there is here. The big changes here for balance are, of course, Fire Cannon and the Auspex Scan no longer affecting burn damage. This is like the single biggest balance change we've had to this game for TAC in ages. The burn damage on Auspex was kind of cracked, so I'm not too shocked about that. And the other reveals here, obviously, that we were getting a Bull Carbine, a Thunder Hammer that we kind of knew about from data mines, and the Melter Rifles, a Heroic variant. And I'll be covering all of those on my stream and on this channel here today and in the future. So if you're curious about that, you can definitely find them all here. And that is pretty much all I have to talk about in this one, guys. Let me know how you feel about the balance changes here. I imagine we'll get a lot more in the official patch launch, especially for like balance changes regarding these 6 heroic weapons, but hopefully that was pretty much, you know, everything a lot of people wanted outside of like some of the Auspex Scan nerfs. But that's all I have to say in this one, guys. If you like content like this, subscribe for more. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And if you want to catch me live to ask me questions about the game or just come hang out, you find me here on YouTube or on Twitch with a link in the video description. I'll also a link to my community Discord. I also want to say a special thank you to my channel members. You guys have been super supportive and helping make content like this. And as always, thank you for watching. Take it easy. Bye.